Hello YouTube! Oh my goodness, I am so excited to be finally making this video. Finally. I've been saying to myself for the longest how much I want to make a YouTube video, how much I want to start a YouTube channel, and I'm finally getting around to doing it, and I'm really excited. I hope you can tell. Anyway, so I guess I'll start with a little back introduction as to who I am and what my channel will be about. My name is Emanuela. I'm a college student. I have a brother. I live in New York. I don't know what else to say about myself. You know those interview questions when you go for an interview, like, well, tell me about yourself. I hate those questions. Like, what do you want to know? Like, that's a better question. But anyway, so what I'm hoping my channel will be about will be just sort of a bit of everything, more of like an inspirational channel where I talk about different things that are going on in the world today. Not in a boring way, but just to give my opinion, give my, my own opinion on just different topics and different things. And feel free to write in the comments your opinions, whether you agree, disagree. Obviously, keep in mind to be respectful, but I know people are always going to have something negative to say, but whatever, just try to be respectful. And just advice on different things in life, or it's gonna be a broad variety of topics, and feel free to just give me ideas, anything you want to hear me talk about or give my opinion on or start a discussion, things like that. And I'm just really excited to be finally doing this video. So with that being said, let's get on with it. So my first video is going to be about how to handle taking care of a ill or sick family member, or a sick child, or a sick friend, or things like that. And I'm going to be speaking from experience. First, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory on my experience of dealing with a sick family member. So I think, let's see, back to my senior year of high school, I found out that my mother had breast cancer, and it was such a random, to me, it felt like a random event in my life. Like, what? Like, nobody in my family had ever had history of breast cancer. So when my aunt and my cousin told me, I was just like, what? So that makes no sense. Are you sure? But yeah, it was just the sad reality of it. And yeah, it was really tough time. I was just surprised. I think when I found the news, I wasn't really sad immediately, more of just like shocked. Like when I tell you, like, it was really a curveball in my life. It was really a curveball in my life. But nevertheless, luckily we had found really good doctors who a really good doctor who took my mother in as a patient and prescribed to her this medicine called Arimidex, and it was working for her, it was helping her. And so when I found out, she had been diagnosed for a while, and but she was sort of currently on a track to getting better. So luckily it wasn't like, your mom has breast cancer, she's gonna die in 3 months, blah, here you go. It was more like, she has breast cancer, the prognosis is not looking too great, but there is hope, there is hope. So which was a really good feeling. Hope is always good. Fast forward to Christmas break after sophomore year. I came home and my mom was just not the way that I left her. Her condition to me personally, had gotten worse from how I remember her the summer previous, and so that was really heartbreaking for me to come home after a really horrible, rough semester and see my mom like that. Like, I called my best friend on the phone and I just literally bawled my eyes out. And so that sort of began for me the role of really being, I guess, my first hand experience of being a caregiver. And to anyone out there who has a sick child, sick parent, sick friend, sick husband, and you have taken the role as a caregiver, kudos to you. Like, give yourself a big a big pat in the back, because it is a tremendously difficult job, and people don't know, but it is difficult. And I only did it for maybe 3 weeks or so, and I was ready to shoot my fucking brains out. imagine, I can't even imagine people who do, like, who actually have to be at home caregiver. Kudos. Like, that's all I can say, kudos. And just can't even imagine what my aunt had to go through when she was home with my mom and having that responsibility, you know, all by herself. Like, I had no idea how difficult it was, and I'm so grateful that you had been there all throughout this whole, you know, experience, because without her, I don't even know, you know, I don't know what would have happened. But, you know, what do you do it when you ask God for something? He's surely there to help you. But anyway, so but the main topics I want to talk about in this video is basically what I've learned from the experience, what I want to pass on to other people, others who may be going through the same thing that I went through, and just, you know, my overall experience and overall ideas and thoughts about being a caregiver. The first thing I want to say is one of the things that I regret as being there for those couple of months, couple of weeks, is looking back on it now. Well, my mother passed away, actually, I should say, probably mention that. She passed away last year, January 5th, 2015. And one thing that I do regret is, although that I did what I could in terms of, you know, bringing her food and, you know, making sure that she'd eaten and things like that, I felt like I could have been there more. And what I mean by that is it's not enough to just bring the person what they need and bring their medicine. I mean, obviously that's great. They need to eat, they need to be on their medication and things like that. But for me personally, I really wish that I had taken the time to be there physically and just sit with my mom, have a conversation, watch a show with her. My mom and I were never particularly close, so I never really had experience with that kind of thing before, you know. Even our phone conversations while I was away in college would be relatively short, you know, just a simple hello to see how I was doing. And, you know, we didn't really have much to talk about. It was kind of awkward. So, but I really wish that during that time I'd really taken the time out to just, you know, really be there and get to know my mom in a way that I hadn't gotten a chance to know her. It's so crazy how we don't really know our parents pre-parents. We don't know mom and dad pre-mom and dad. We just know mom and dad as, you know, our mom and dad taking care of us, giving us money for food, clothes, da da da. But we don't know what well, at least personally, I felt like I didn't really know my mom before she was mom. And I really wish I had that time to have gotten to know her in that way, because I know that's something that I would really have carried with me for the rest of my life. And if I could go back and do it all over again, I would change some things and do things differently. So that's definitely one thing, being there. And I know it's hard, guys. I know whoever's dealing with this kind of stuff, I know it's difficult. I know it can be really depressing. It can be really sad. But I promise you, if you just one day where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna sit here and try to get to know this person in a different way, I really think that would change your perspective and your attitude towards the situation. So that's one thing, being there. And then also another thing, number 2, would be forgiveness. Forgiving yourself for, I know maybe one day you're particularly frustrated. You're frustrated that this person that you love so much is sick. You're frustrated because there's nothing you can do about it. Frustrated because it just seems like it's just so much to do and so much to take on, and maybe your attitude towards that person that particular day is not the best. Maybe your attitude towards yourself is not the best. And I'm here to tell you that that's okay. It's part of the process. It's part of being a caregiver. It's part of the role that you take on. And a really important thing is just to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself, move on, and be a better person. Be a better caregiver the next day or the next hour, the next minute, whatever it is. And don't hold that against yourself, that maybe that you weren't the nicest person at that moment, because we're human. Honestly, you know, we are human, and as long as that we're doing our best, as long as we're putting our best foot forward each and every time, we can't really ask for more. So maybe there's a slip up and you maybe lash out and you didn't mean it, or I know there definitely a time when I lashed out at my mom and I didn't mean it. I felt so bad and I apologized later, but you know, I forgave myself, and I didn't allow that to be the pattern of our relationship. You know, Um, I wanted to be the best caregiver that I could, and so forgiveness is definitely really important. And not to be too hard on yourself. You know, it's a really tough position to be in. It's really challenging. It's filled with many highs, many lows, and the best thing you can do is to be the best that you can be to that person and to yourself, and to just take it one day at a time. Another thing I found um, to be really difficult is remaining patient. Oh my goodness. When I tell you patience is not my strongest virtue, patience is not my strongest virtue. When I want things done, I want them done now. But I will say I'm actually really patient with kids, but just not, but with life itself and waiting for stuff, that's not me. But patience is definitely a really important factor in terms of taking care of someone who is ill, because like I said, there will be days that are hard, days that you don't want to get out of bed, days that you don't want to deal with it. You just want to put the covers over your head and just take a slumber for the next week. Nobody bother me, don't call me, don't email, don't text, just leave me alone. And that's where patience and prayer really come in hands. Like, I know during my weakest moments, during the toughest moments for me and being a caregiver with my mom, prayer really helped me to just keep it together, you know. And I learned through prayer is not to ask God to take this cross away from you, but to ask God to give you the strength to go through it. You know, everyone in life goes through something. Everyone has difficult moments, difficult situations that they are placed in. But the key really is asking God for strength. And I really think that's a really constructive way to pray. And what doesn't kill you will ultimately make you stronger. So really asking God for that strength to go through whatever it is that you are going through, and being patient with yourself, being patient with the person that you're taking care of, and being patient with the situation. Things may not be looking good for that person. They may be coming to an end. But you know what? It's going to be okay as long as you just do your best to stay strong. And that's what I really tried to keep in mind throughout that whole 3-week spiel with my mom. Like, because it definitely was very difficult. And yeah, it was difficult. It was something different, something that I'd never truly experienced before. So and yeah, I mean, I really hope this video helps someone out there because I know it's difficult. I know how difficult it is, but honestly, just hang in there. Yes, hang in there and just stay strong, stay positive, okay? Don't be too hard on yourself. Forgive yourself and move on. Forgive yourself and move on, and continue to be the best person that you can be for this person. Let this person know how much you care about them, how much you love them, how much you hope for them to get better. But and let this person know that you are trying your best. And also, it's important for that. I know the person is also ill, but it's important for them to also meet you halfway, because it is a tough situation, and you know what? There's no need for it to be difficult. So those are the things that I would keep in mind, and those are the things that I kind of wanted to get out of my chest and sort of get out there in hopes that people would listen to this video and get something out of it. Yeah, and I think the most important thing in this video that I talked about would be being there. Be there. I cannot stress that enough. I can't stress how much I regret not being there not being there physically. I mean, in terms of just spending time with this person, getting to know them, you know, sharing laughs and just creating memories, you know. And that's something I really wish I could have done. But you know, you can't change the past. The past is the past. You can only learn from it. So that's my advice. That's my overall thoughts about being a caregiver. And yeah, so I will be posting videos hopefully once a week, probably every Sunday or Saturday, something like that. And you can leave in the comments below any thoughts that you may have for my next video, or ideas, or whatever. And thanks guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for listening, and I will see you next weekend. Alrighty.